Implementation of the novel mRNA vaccine technology by Q2 2024, key development stages and funding overview. Introduction. The pharmaceutical industry is on the verge of a significant transition, with the implementation of novel mRNA vaccine technology expected to reach pivotal milestones by the second quarter of 2024. Supported by a substantial investment of $10 million, this initiative aims to propel the development of mRNA vaccines through critical clinical trial phases, emphasizing innovative methodologies such as decentralized clinical trials (DCTs). This report outlines the key development stages, funding implications, and the broader context of this advancement within the competitive pharmaceutical landscape. Key development stages. The journey to bring the mRNA vaccine technology to fruition involves 5 critical development stages. 1. Preclinical research. The initial phase includes laboratory studies and animal testing to evaluate the safety and biological activity of the mRNA vaccine. This foundational research is crucial to ensure that the vaccine can elicit a robust immune response without causing adverse effects. 2. Phase 1 trials. In this stage, the vaccine is administered to a small group of healthy individuals. The primary focus is on assessing safety, determining the appropriate dosage, and gathering preliminary data on the vaccine's efficacy. This phase is essential for identifying any immediate side effects and understanding how the vaccine interacts with the human immune system. 3. Phase 2 trials. Following successful Phase 1 trials, the project is poised to enter Phase 2 trials, which will begin by Q2 2024 with the backing of the recently secured $10 million funding. These trials will involve a larger cohort of participants to further assess the vaccine's efficacy and safety profile. This stage is pivotal as it helps refine dosing and provides more comprehensive data on the vaccine's performance across diverse populations. 4. Phase 3 trials. Phase 3 trials will represent the final testing stage before regulatory approval. This extensive phase will involve thousands of participants across various demographics and geographies, aimed at confirming the vaccine's effectiveness and monitoring for any long-term adverse reactions. The data collected during this phase will be crucial for regulatory submissions. 5. Regulatory submission. Upon successful completion of Phase 3 trials, the collected data will be compiled and submitted to regulatory authorities for review. This step is critical for obtaining the necessary approvals to market the vaccine to the public, ensuring that it meets all safety and efficacy standards. Funding and resource allocation. The $10 million funding secured for Phase 2 trials is a significant milestone in the development of the mRNA vaccine. This investment is not only vital for advancing clinical trials but also reflects the increasing confidence in mRNA technology as a transformative approach to vaccine development. The funding will facilitate the recruitment of a larger participant pool, enhance data collection capabilities, and support the implementation of DCT methodologies, which have shown to improve efficiency in clinical trials. Decentralized clinical trials (DCTs). DCTs are becoming an essential component of modern clinical research, allowing for more flexible and efficient trial designs. This methodology leverages digital technologies to enable remote patient participation, which can lead to faster recruitment and retention rates. Evidence suggests that DCTs can achieve enrollment rates that are up to 200% faster than traditional trials and result in significant cost savings. Experts in the field have highlighted the operational efficiencies associated with DCTs, noting their potential to enhance patient diversity and engagement. By utilizing digital platforms, researchers can reach underrepresented populations, thereby improving the overall quality and applicability of trial results. Regulatory landscape. Recent guidance from the FDA has emphasized that trials incorporating decentralized elements must adhere to existing regulatory standards, marking a shift toward integrating DCTs into standard practices. This regulatory support is expected to facilitate broader adoption of DCT methodologies in clinical trials, further enhancing their role in vaccine development. Timeline of events. The timeline for the implementation of the mRNA vaccine technology is as follows. Pre-2023, initial research and development of mRNA vaccines commenced, laying the groundwork for future studies. 2023, early Phase 1 trials began focusing on safety and dosage assessment while discussions around DCTs gained traction. Early 2024, announcement of the $10 million funding aimed at supporting Phase 2 trials with recruitment expected to start by Q2 2024. Mid-2024, Phase 2 trials are anticipated to be in progress employing DCT methodologies to optimize recruitment and data collection. Late 2024 to early 2025, completion of Phase 2 trials is expected, followed by preparations for Phase 3 trials and subsequent regulatory submissions. Conclusion. The integration of advanced mRNA vaccine technology combined with innovative trial methodologies such as decentralized clinical trials represents a significant advancement in vaccine development and clinical research. The $10 million funding for Phase 2 trials underscores the commitment to harnessing this cutting-edge technology, which promises to reshape the landscape of vaccine production and distribution. As the timeline progresses, the focus on DCTs and digital health solutions will continue to influence the future of clinical trials, enhancing patient engagement and ensuring diverse representation in research. This initiative not only reflects the urgent need for effective vaccines but also embodies the industry's shift toward more efficient and inclusive trial practices, aligning with evolving regulatory frameworks and patient needs. The anticipated outcomes of these trials will be pivotal in determining the success of the mRNA vaccine technology in addressing public health challenges. The implementation of a novel mRNA vaccine technology by Q2 2024 reflects a significant evolution in the pharmaceutical landscape, particularly regarding clinical trial methodologies. The decision to support Phase 2 trials with $10 million in funding also highlights strategic priorities in the race for innovation. Counterintuitive information. 1. Funding in a competitive landscape. It may seem intuitive that innovative technologies like mRNA vaccines would naturally attract significant funding, especially in light of recent successes with COVID-19 vaccines. However, the reality is that the pharmaceutical industry is experiencing fierce competition. The $10 million allocation for Phase 2 trials represents a calculated risk rather than a guaranteed pathway to success. It underscores a paradox where, despite the promise of mRNA technology, funding decisions are deeply influenced by market competition and the urgency to establish efficacy before rivals can potentially deliver similar solutions. 2. Decentralized clinical trials (DCTs) as a standard. While one might expect that the implementation of DCTs would be met with skepticism due to their relatively new nature, the current trend suggests the opposite. The anticipated normalization of DCT methodologies by 2024 indicates a significant shift in acceptance. This is counterintuitive because traditional clinical trials are deeply entrenched in regulatory frameworks. Yet there's a growing consensus that DCTs can enhance patient engagement and streamline processes, an acceptance that is rapidly being integrated into standard practices. 3. Patient diversity versus DCT efficiency. A common assumption is that DCTs would primarily focus on efficiency and cost reduction, sidelining concerns of patient diversity. However, evidence indicates that DCTs are actually improving diversity in clinical trial participation. This is contrary to the expectation that operational efficiencies would lead to a more homogenized participant pool, as companies are leveraging digital technologies to engage underrepresented groups. Thus, DCTs are shown to not only reduce costs and time but also facilitate a more inclusive approach to clinical research. 4. Regulatory compliance perception. There is a belief that innovative trial methodologies such as DCTs would face stricter regulatory hurdles due to their novelty. However, Recent FDA guidance clarifies that trials incorporating decentralized elements must comply with the same regulations as traditional trials. This revelation is counterintuitive as it suggests that regulatory bodies are adapting to innovative practices rather than imposing additional restrictions which could foster greater innovation in clinical trials. 5. Long-term predictions on DCTs. The expectation that by 2024 the term DCT would become obsolete is surprising. This implies that as decentralized methods become mainstream, they will be indistinguishable from traditional trial approaches. The prevailing thought is that innovations create new categories and distinctions, but this trend suggests a unification of trial methodologies which could lead to a more streamlined regulatory landscape and industry practices. 6. AI and clinical trials. The integration of AI in clinical trials is often viewed with caution due to fears surrounding data privacy and accuracy. However, the anticipated regulatory focus on AI transparency and the establishment of guidelines to ensure ethical deployment are counterintuitive to the initial concerns surrounding AI in healthcare. This proactive regulatory approach indicates a recognition of AI's potential benefits rather than solely its risks, suggesting a transformative potential for clinical trials. 7. Cross-industry collaboration. The expectation that increased financial pressures would hinder cross-industry collaboration post-pandemic is contradicted by indications of renewed opportunities for partnerships in 2025. While initial predictions suggested a retreat into silos, the evolving landscape indicates that organizations are recognizing the value of shared data and collaboration to drive innovation, which is contrary to the assumption of decreased collaboration in a cost-cutting environment. 8. Long-term impact of DCTs on trial design. The notion that the adoption of DCTs would lead to a homogenization of trial designs is counterintuitive. Instead, the predictions suggest a future of greater diversity in trial designs where elements of decentralization are tailored based on specific needs and contexts of each trial. This indicates a more sophisticated understanding of trial methodology where flexibility and adaptability become central tenets rather than a one-size-fits-all approach. Conclusion. The implementation of mRNA vaccine technology and the adoption of decentralized clinical trials signify a transformative shift in the pharmaceutical industry. As organizations navigate a competitive landscape, the insights gleaned from the evolving methodologies and regulatory frameworks reveal surprising trends that challenge conventional expectations. The blending of innovation with rigorous compliance, patient engagement, and operational efficiency underscores a new era in clinical research that prioritizes both speed and inclusivity. Within the report on the implementation of a novel mRNA vaccine technology and the associated decentralized clinical trials (DCTs) processes, certain content is particularly significant but may be overlooked by many readers. Below are critical elements that deserve attention and an explanation of their significance. 1. Importance of decentralized clinical trials (DCTs). DCTs are not merely a trend but represent a fundamental shift in how clinical trials are conducted. The report highlights that DCT methodologies can lead to 200% faster enrollment rates and substantial cost reductions. These figures may seem impressive, but their implications are deeper than mere efficiency metrics. Significance. Patient accessibility. DCTs allow for broader geographical participant recruitment, which is essential for ensuring diverse patient representation. This is vital in making sure that trial results are applicable to a wider population. Engagement and retention. DCTs utilize technology to facilitate participation, which can enhance patient engagement and retention rates over traditional methods. This is significant for the reliability of trial results. Regulatory compliance. The report mentions that recent FDA guidelines are adapting to incorporate DCT elements into existing regulations. This indicates a regulatory acceptance that could pave the way for broader application of DCTs across various trials, ultimately leading to faster drug approvals. 2. Financial implications of DCTs. While the report mentions a $10 million funding boost for Phase 2 trials, it also references the potential economic benefits of DCTs, which can yield ROI from 5 to 13 times the initial investment. This is a key point that often gets lost in discussions focused solely on technological advancements. Significance. Cost efficiency. Understanding the financial metrics can help stakeholders in the pharmaceutical industry justify their investments in DCTs, especially in a climate where R&D budgets are scrutinized. Investment justification. For investors and decision-makers, these figures provide a compelling case for allocating resources toward innovative trial methodologies rather than traditional approaches that may be more costly and time-consuming. 3. Regulatory landscape evolution. The report underscores the evolving regulatory environment, particularly the FDA's recent guidance indicating that trials with decentralized elements must comply with existing regulations. This shift is crucial for the acceptance of DCTs as a standard practice. Significance. Standardization of practices. As DCTs become integrated into standard clinical trial practices, it signals a move towards modernization in the pharmaceutical industry, which can have long-term implications on how trials are designed and executed. Legal safeguards. A clearer regulatory framework enhances the legal safeguards for patient data and trial integrity, which can foster greater public trust in clinical trials. 4. Diversity in clinical trials. The report touches on the implications of DCTs for patient diversity. The potential for these trials to engage underrepresented populations is significant, yet often underestimated. Significance. Inclusive research. Increased diversity leads to more generalized results that are applicable across different demographics, thereby improving the efficacy of treatments for a broader range of patients. Regulatory compliance. As regulatory bodies increasingly call for diversity in clinical trials, utilizing DCTs can help sponsors meet these requirements more effectively. 5. Technological integration and future directions. The integration of advanced technologies, including AI and digital health solutions, is mentioned as a transformative aspect of DCTs. However, the report suggests that the broader implications of this integration might be overlooked. Significance. Operational efficiency. AI can streamline data collection and analysis, potentially leading to quicker decision-making during trials. This can drastically improve the timelines for bringing new therapies to market. Long-term impacts. The convergence of AI and DCT methodologies could redefine trial designs, making them more adaptive and responsive to emerging data, which may ultimately benefit patient outcomes. Conclusion. The report outlines a crucial evolution in vaccine development and clinical trial methodologies, emphasizing the importance of DCT's financial implications, regulatory developments, diversity, and technological advancements. While these elements may seem like routine details, their significance lies in their potential to reshape the landscape of clinical research, enhance patient engagement, and accelerate the delivery of new therapies to the market. Understanding and acknowledging these aspects can empower stakeholders to make informed decisions and foster a more inclusive, efficient, and innovative pharmaceutical industry. For most valuable points for in-depth analysis and discussion. 1. Funding and resource allocation for Phase 2 trials. The provision of $10 million in funding is a critical element in advancing the Phase 2 trials of the novel mRNA vaccine technology. This funding is not just a financial boost, but it underscores the importance of adequately resourcing clinical trials to ensure they are thorough and can yield reliable data on efficacy and safety. Analyzing how this funding will be allocated in terms of personnel, technology, and patient recruitment strategies will provide insights into the operational aspects of the trials. Furthermore, discussions around funding can lead to broader implications for the pharmaceutical industry's funding models, the influence of venture capital, and the prioritization of innovative treatments in a competitive landscape. 2. Decentralized clinical trials, DCTs. The adoption of decentralized clinical trials (DCTs) represents a significant shift in how clinical research is conducted. DCTs enable faster patient recruitment, improved patient engagement, and more efficient data collection processes. Analyzing the impact of DCTs on trial outcomes, including the potential for enhanced diversity among trial participants, is vital. This includes examining the operational efficiencies achieved through DCT methodologies such as faster enrollment rates reported at 200% faster and substantial cost reductions. Additionally, the integration of DCTs raises important questions about regulatory compliance, patient privacy, and how these methodologies can be standardized across different trials. 3. Regulatory landscape and compliance. The evolving regulatory landscape, particularly with guidance from the FDA regarding DCTs, reflects a significant trend toward integrating decentralized methodologies into standard clinical trial practices. A thorough discussion around the compliance requirements for DCTs, as well as the implications of these regulations on trial designs and patient safety, is essential. As DCTs gain traction, understanding how regulatory bodies are adapting and what this means for future trials will be critical for stakeholders, including pharmaceutical companies, patients, and regulatory agencies. The potential for regulatory frameworks to evolve alongside technological advancements in clinical trials presents a rich area for exploration. 4. Patient diversity and engagement. The focus on patient diversity in clinical trials is becoming increasingly important in ensuring that clinical research reflects the populations most affected by the diseases being studied. Digital technologies facilitate broader recruitment from underrepresented groups, which can lead to improved trial outcomes and comprehensive data analysis. Evaluating strategies to enhance patient engagement and retention in trials, especially under DCT methodologies, can provide insights into how the industry can better serve diverse populations. Discussions could explore the ethical implications of ensuring diversity, the challenges faced in achieving it, and how innovative approaches can bridge gaps in representation within clinical trials. Conclusion. The implementation of novel mRNA vaccine technology and the associated developments in clinical trial methodologies, including DCTs, funding allocations, regulatory frameworks, and patient diversity, present rich avenues for in-depth analysis and discussion. Each of these points not only highlights the current trends in pharmaceutical research and development, but also indicates future directions and challenges that the industry may face as it strives for innovation and efficacy in clinical trials. 1. The development of the polio vaccine, 1955. The creation of the polio vaccine by Dr. Jonas Salk is a landmark event in medical history. Initially in the early 1950s, Salk conducted extensive preclinical research to ensure the safety and efficacy of the vaccine. Following this, the first human trials began in 1952 involving a small group of children. By 1954, a large-scale trial was conducted involving over 1.8 million children, which was one of the largest clinical trials at the time. The results were overwhelmingly positive, leading to the vaccine's approval for public use in 1955. This case exemplifies how systematic stages in vaccine development, from preclinical research to large-scale trials, can lead to significant public health advancements. 2. The development of the HPV vaccine, Gardasil, 2006. The journey to develop the HPV vaccine Gardasil involved rigorous research and several phases of clinical trials over years. After extensive preclinical studies, Phase 1 trials began in 1998, assessing the vaccine's safety and immune response in a small group of women. Phase 2 trials followed, involving larger populations to evaluate efficacy and side effects, leading to Phase 3 trials with more than 20,000 participants in 2006. This comprehensive approach highlighted the importance of each development stage and the integration of diverse populations to ensure the vaccine's effectiveness across different demographics. The successful introduction of Gardasil significantly reduced the incidence of cervical cancer, showcasing the impact of innovative vaccine technology. 3. The development of the COVID-19 mRNA vaccines, 2020. The rapid development of COVID-19 vaccines, particularly the mRNA vaccines by Pfizer-BioNTech and Moderna, represents a remarkable feat in vaccine technology. These vaccines followed a streamlined yet rigorous development process beginning with preclinical studies in early 2020. Phase 1 trials were conducted in March 2020, focusing on safety and immune response in a small cohort of participants. Phase 2 trials soon followed, expanding to thousands of participants to gather more data on efficacy and side effects. By late 2020, Phase 3 trials demonstrated high efficacy rates, leading to Emergency Use Authorization (EUA) from the FDA. The unprecedented speed of development was facilitated by significant funding and the use of decentralized clinical trial methodologies, which allowed for quicker recruitment and data collection. The success of these mRNA vaccines has since reshaped the landscape of vaccine development and public health strategies globally. The implementation of novel mRNA vaccine technology is poised to undergo significant advancements by Q2 2024, with a structured plan encompassing 5 key development stages backed by $10 million in funding for Phase 2 trials. This initiative highlights a transformative shift in the pharmaceutical landscape, particularly in the realm of clinical trials, where decentralized clinical trials (DCTs) are gaining prominence. Future outlook. 1. Accelerated development and regulatory frameworks. By 2025, we can expect that the regulatory environment will have adapted to more seamlessly integrate DCT methodologies into clinical trial frameworks. Regulatory authorities like the FDA are anticipated to finalize comprehensive guidelines that will facilitate smoother approvals for decentralized trials. This shift will encourage broader adoption of DCTs, fundamentally altering how clinical trials are designed and conducted. 2. Enhanced patient recruitment and diversity. As DCT methodologies become standard practice, patient recruitment processes will become increasingly efficient. The use of digital technologies will allow for better outreach and engagement with diverse patient populations, leading to more inclusive trial demographics. By 2025, it is likely that trials will reflect a broader spectrum of participant backgrounds, ultimately improving the generalizability of clinical trial results. 3. Integration of AI and advanced technologies. The convergence of artificial intelligence (AI) and quantum computing will revolutionize data analysis in clinical trials. By leveraging AI, researchers will be able to automate data collection and analysis, enhancing the speed and accuracy of results. In 2025, AI is expected to play a pivotal role in real-time data monitoring and adaptive trial designs, allowing for more agile responses to trial outcomes. 4. Cost efficiency and resource allocation. DCTs will likely demonstrate notable cost efficiencies, with predictions indicating potential reductions in trial costs by up to 50%. This financial benefit will encourage pharmaceutical companies to allocate resources towards innovative trial designs and technologies, fostering a competitive edge in the marketplace. As companies increasingly embrace DCTs, the ROI from decentralized trials is expected to become a significant factor in trial strategy. 5. Long-term impact on vaccine development. The successful implementation and outcomes of the mRNA vaccine trials will set a precedent for future vaccine development. Anticipated advancements in mRNA technology will not only enhance responses to infectious diseases but may also pave the way for personalized medicine approaches in treating chronic conditions. By 2025, the lessons learned from current trials are expected to influence broader applications of mRNA technology across various therapeutic areas. Conclusion. The integration of mRNA vaccine technology and DCT methodologies represents a pivotal moment in clinical research and vaccine development. As we approach 2025, the pharmaceutical industry is likely to witness transformative changes driven by regulatory adaptations, technological advancements, and a renewed focus on patient diversity. These developments will not only optimize clinical trials but will also enhance patient outcomes. ensuring that innovative therapies reach the market more efficiently and effectively.